Welcome back to the Dynasty Happy Hour. I am here with my co-host Tyler, the beautiful tomato face himself. Tyler,
Tomato face.
because it's
How
red. I
dare
don't know.
you? I have a family.
Also, tomato faces.
No, false.
You
The real dad has dark black hair. I don't know. We're still
I've
trying
seen
to
your
figure out who it
children.
is.
Yeah, I've seen your gang over there. It's all good. Week 2 is upon us. It's almost over, actually, and it's getting dicey out there on your fantasy rosters because we thought week 1 was bad with injuries, and oh boy, it just
Were
keeps on
we
coming.
wrong? Yeah.
Ugh. Let's talk about it before we go over our observations for the week. Let's give you the rundown on some of these injuries. We'll start at the running back position, where the biggest loss of the week is Isaiah Pacheco. He broke his fibula, and he looks like he's going to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks. He is going on IR. The Chiefs are bringing in good old friend Kareem Hunt in for a visit. His brother Mike was unavailable, so it's just Kareem. It's coming in. It's too easy. To go along
We're
with
like
Samaje. Shout out to Ja Rule, P Ryan, as well as what's it, Carson Steele?
Carson Steele. They're making a superhero.
Not related to Lexington, if those wondering at home. So we're good there. So we'll see if they sign Kareem Hunt, but he's a street free agent. It's going to be a hot mess. I can't wait for everyone to just blow their fab everywhere in your redraft leagues. So yeah, fab. That's free agent auction budget, Tyler.
I know, but yeah. I mean, if you're not playing Fab, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, waiver order, that is so 2010 or 2018. You got to do Fab all day long.
Jeez. We're that far into the 2000s that saying that's so 2010 is like forever ago.
I mean, that was like legit 14 years ago. That's wild. That's
crazy.
All right, let's move on because I feel old. Also, Joe Mixon, left Sunday night's game with an ankle injury. He got rolled up on one of those hip drop tackles, one of the banned ones. But they didn't call it.
They haven't called any of them.
No, there'll be a fine. There'll be a $5,000 fine. Blah blah blah. Joe Mixon, he did come back into the game. Cam Akers was active because Dameon Pierce was inactive, and Akers fumbled, so that didn't look great. So some things going on there in Houston as well. Tank Bigsby left the game with a shoulder injury. He did split carries with Travis Etienne in week 1. Etienne carried the majority of the workload in week 2. And then Marshawn Lloyd made his debut and then left with an ankle injury and did not return. He's looking fragile. I'll say is a nice way to put it.
Kendre Miller and Marshawn Lloyd are doing the Spider-Man finger point and gif at each other. Yeah. Except one coach isn't a giant douchebag that will throw you under the bus.
That is true. And then last but not least, Tajay Spears suffered an ankle injury in the second half against the Jets. There is a guy that is probably available in 99% of dynasty leagues. His name is Julius Chestnut. Really good athlete. Speculative ad.
His brother's great at eating hot dogs.
He's a glizzy god, is what I've been told. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing it in my earpiece right now. He's a glizzy god, Tyler. So yeah, Julius Chestnut might be a speculative ad for you out there that might need some deep running back help. Let's go to wide receiver. So the news is Puka Nacua is going to miss a lot of time. He's on IR, so he's going to miss at least 4 games. The rumor is maybe up to 7 weeks, which sucks. And then Cooper Kupp, who everyone's like, Cooper Kupp to the moon with 20 targets, and everyone is frothing about Cooper Kupp because he looks awesome. And then Cooper Kupp also gets injured, and it looks like he's going to be gone for an extended time. He might be on the IR as well with an ankle injury. Yeah. And you could tell that the Rams, once they lost Kupp, they had to they got to figure out what.
Nobody on that offensive line is the same. Like I think there's one player that is still starting. That was the original starters. Their center's out for I think 4 games. Like
Avila's out, the left guard.
The left tackle is coming back this week. He had a 2-game suspension.
Yay.
He is coming back. There is help, but I'm afraid it's too late. It got so bad. They actually played Blake Corum, and you know what happened? Blake Corum's yard per carry was like a yard better, and people were instantly like, told you. I told you Blake Corum's better than it's like,
I know.
Okay, if there's one thing I will say about X, just stop with the I told you so. It's week 2. We don't know. Like the Jane Daniels over Caleb Williams people. I told you. Jane Daniels hasn't looked great either. Like he had an okay game, but I mean, getting Terry McLaurin 6 for what was it, 20 or so? Bad. Yeah, it's not great. They're not throwing it on the field. Jay Daniels is going to get massacred, but we'll talk about that in the future.
Yes, we absolutely will. So Cooper Kupp going to be on the sideline. I'm still a big Jordan Whittington fan. Demarcus Robinson is, albeit the number 1 with Tyler Johnson. Even Tutu Atwell saw the field, so that was interesting. But yeah, that is not good news for Matthew Stafford. It's not good news for Kyren Williams. It's just not good news. The Rams are, they had high hopes this season going into the season, but it's already week 2. They're 0-2, and they've lost their 2 top receivers. So not great, Bob. Justin Jefferson left the game with a thigh bruise / contusion, did not return, but he did say that nothing to worry about, and he looks like he's going to be fine. We saw Jefferson with that awesome 97-yard touchdown from Sam Darnold, that catch, and then that quick cut, and then he went the opposite way, and he was gone. Love to see the awareness out of Jay Jettas. He is absolutely amazeballs. We had David Bell dislocated his hip.
Ouch.
That's not good. I mean, I know David Bell is like, I like David Bell coming out of college as a producer. He hasn't hit for the Browns. Obviously, he was on their practice squad and whatever. But a dislocated hip, yikes.
Yeah, that's a career ender, probably.
Yeah. And we did find out today that AJ Brown will miss multiple weeks. It looks like, there was like, oh, he missed the game. He could have gone, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like he'll miss a couple of weeks. And on top of that, we also found out tonight that Deebo Samuel is going to miss some time. So the Niners already without Christian McCaffrey, who was placed on IR, who could miss up to 7 weeks as well. Deebo's out for a couple of weeks. So the sneaky ad here, because Ricky Pearsall is still out after his incident, Juwan Jennings might be available in some of your dynasty leagues. And Juwan Jennings, if you haven't watched him play football, kid is a dog. He's just good at football. I don't know if he's going to be like fantasy impactful, but, if he gets you 5 for 50 or 60, maybe scores a touchdown, I'm down with that because he's free right now. So I'm cool with that because, Jacob Cowing fumbled a punt. So I don't think he's going to get a lot of snaps.
Ayuk is rusty from his holdout.
Yeah. So Juwan Jennings, he would be the guy that you could probably add for the price of free right now.
And also Ricky Pearsall needs to be a trade for because Deebo's never healthy. Kittle is never healthy. Like Kittle got hurt in the game, and Ayuk has looked rusty. So like Ricky Pearsall, like I said last week, like this whole getting shot and stuff, like they're gonna try to build around that this year to kind of like use that as fuel for the kind of the crappy start they've had.
Yeah, they've been a little sus. I guess the Vikings are the Brock Purdy's 0-2 against the Vikings in his career. So I think it's the only team that he's lost twice against. Interesting. Anywho, also at tight end, Taysom Hill left the game with a chest injury and did not return. Cool. The Taysom Hill experience would have been fun, but guess what? They don't need him because the Saints have been balling. I know Tyler despises the New Orleans Saints. He doesn't like anything to do with fun, and New Orleans is all about fun.
Hey, what the Saints need to do is learn from the Falcons Super Bowl run when Dan Quinn was the head coach. And they had Shanahan as the OC. What they need to learn is to not let that OC go and fire the head coach. Like, just keep the OC. And if you have to give them the head coaching job, do it. Because what they're doing is elite. Like, it is working a ton. That offensive line was supposed to be dog shit.
The worst. Yeah.
And now
no Ramczyk.
They drafted what looks to be a phenomenal left tackle in the first round. Like they've got that settled, and now like everything's come together. And Carr looks to be in MVP form. Like we'll get to that.
Yeah, I did want to give a couple of updates too. Ken Walker is going to miss, it looks like, multiple weeks as well for Seattle. Zach Charbonnet scored a touchdown filling in for him against the Patriots this week. And also there was another one. Oh, Hollywood Brown done for the year. So
should we talk about the main injury that happened on
it
Thursday?
Happened in Maine in vacation land?
No, the
Yes,
Thursday game.
I was saving that for last.
Okay.
So the last injury, as we all know, is Tua Tagovailoa. Another concussion, his third one in 2 or 3 years. Everyone, I'm not here to say what a man should or shouldn't do with his career or speculate. I'm just saying that it's all the reports are that he's not going to retire. He's meeting with neurologists this week, and I'll leave it at that. Is he going to miss time? I assume so. How much time is he going to miss? I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I would rather just come at you with cold hard facts of what actually happens. But I know, Tyler, you were aggressively trying to trade for Tua. Because Tyler is an opportunistic trader. If there's a dip, someone's in legal trouble, someone killed a guy, Tyler is trying to trade for that person.
It's a problem.
Tyler's like, what do you want for Hernandez?
He's got a chance. I mean, I honestly, I was getting I already made one trade in our UDPL league, which allowed me to deal another quarterback, and then I have another trade in a single quarterback where I got him for Stafford and 2 fourths. So I'm not crying about any of the deals. I gave up Keon Coleman and it would be Doug's second round pick, which looks to be a mid to late. So we're looking at a wide receiver that is a hopeful wide receiver 2 and a second round pick for a quarterback, like a low end quarterback 1, high end quarterback 2. And I told myself this offseason that if I've got a stud quarterback, I'm going to look to just trade and get guys like Tua, Goff, and Purdy, because look at what we're seeing. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I think Jordan Love might be one of the safer quarterbacks. In these offenses, JJ McCarthy should be a buy, because just look at what Darnold's doing. And I think McCarthy is better than Darnold when it comes to talent. So, maybe it's not just okay, Anthony Richardson, we should go and get him. We'll talk about him in a little bit. Maybe we should just be okay, we need safety, and let's get these Bijans, Breece Hall. Let's get Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson's at wide receiver, and let's go get the Brock Bowers at tight end or Sam Laporta's. Let's stack up our offensive weapons. Then let's have safety at quarterback. And that's what I'm starting to realize a little bit.
You know what I've realized for a while is that I know everyone gets a sweatpant boner for quarterbacks in Superflex leagues. It's okay to not start 2 quarterbacks.
100%.
I'm here to say it. If your roster's good and you have depth, it's okay. You don't have to force that second quarterback into the flex spot. It'll be all right. Trust me. I mean, if you've been starting guys name a quarterback that sucked this year. There's a lot of them.
Everybody.
Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson, Bryce Young, whoever that's scoring single-digit points, you can get 12 points from Khalil Shakir.
100%. And it's I'm in a Superflex league. I have Goff and Trevor Lawrence, and it's okay, I got 10 points from both of them. And then I have Geno on my bench. That got me 17. I could have started Geno and then started, I don't know, and another receiver, another running back. Completely agree. I think we need to kind of get out of our way, especially the way quarterbacks are playing right now. We need to kind of get out of our own head and start looking at these receivers and running backs for the flex spot. So we witnessed Gabe Gearing, good friend of ours. He took a team nearly to a title in bar tab with just one quarterback the first year it was in, and it's there's other ways to win.
Yep, it can be done. So all right, let's talk week 2. There's a lot to unpack. We're starting to see trends happen in the league. For me, it's all about the first 4 weeks. I don't overreact to too many things within the first month of the season, because the way that preseason is laid out, these guys don't play in preseason. And we're seeing it be very rusty. We're seeing teams relying on the run game and being successful way more this year than they have in the past. The passing game has been slow to develop. The defenses have been better. So for me, I don't really overreact, because, I mean, a lot of people are probably hitting the panic button at the tight end position right now, going, what's going on with Travis Kelce? What's going on with Sam Laporta? What's going on with Mark Andrews? XYZ. What's going on with Kyle Pitts? All these guys are freaking out because, Kelce, I was told, was, still a top 5 tight end, not in dynasty, but in a season long league. And Kelce hasn't done shit. He's been awful.
He's got 4 catches.
Yeah, not great, Bob. So it's stuff like that. And Laporta, same thing. Like, he's healthy, but it just hasn't been in the game plan. They haven't relied on Laporta. I'm not panicking yet, but I do want to talk about a tight end that and I've beat this drum numerous times. I said it on the podcast. You're going to regret it in a year's time and be like, why didn't we draft Brock Bowers higher than 107 and 108 in tight end premium leagues? Because you're going to look back on it and you're going to feel fucking stupid, because Brock Bowers is the best prospect we have ever seen at the position. And look what he's doing for the Raiders with Gardner Minshew at quarterback. He just looks different. Tyler and I were talking about it. You look at Sam Laporta, he's a great athlete. You look at Sam Laporta get open the way he moves, you're like, wow, this guy's really good. You look at Brock Bowers' move, and he's just so fluid. He looks like a wide receiver. He's out of control. And, he's got 12 receptions through his first 2 games. He is leading the team in targets. He's leading the team in catches. Wash, rinse, repeat. Brock Bowers is a weapon. And the tight end and the touchdowns are going to come. I'm not even worried about that. But I love tight end 1 already. Like, just put it on the board. I don't even care.
People are going to be like, well, it's too early. Like, we're kind of seeing trends, like you said, and with Buffalo and Dalton Kincaid, like, where's the hype there?
There's another one.
They're spreading the ball around, just like Mahomes is right now. And defenses are like, okay, if we take out Kincaid, they've got to go elsewhere. So we'll just take out Kincaid and we'll worry about everybody else because they're unproven. And we're seeing that with a lot of these players. Like Laporta has a JMO problem. Jameson Williams he's looking really good.
He's siphoning some targets off of Sammy Boy.
Yeah, big time. Like, they didn't have that other player. Like, Gibbs is getting a ton of targets still, and Laporta's kind of left empty-handed. Yeah, Bowers to me is the tight end 1 in Dynasty. Like, I've seen enough. We did this in what year was it? 2019 with AJ Brown? 2018?
With AJ Brown?
AJ Brown. We're like, oh my God, the Tennessee Titans. No, this is not a good team.
Oh yeah, he slipped in drafts because he went to the Titans. Yes.
He's a second. He wasn't a first round pick. I don't know. Oh, this, like, we all overthought it, and we're like, okay, this sucks. Like, he's not gonna work there. And what does he do?
I guess I'll take him at 108, 109.
Yeah. It's in UDPL. In Industry League, he went 202. In a 12-team league, he went 202. Like, we overthink things so much. And unfortunately, I didn't get any Bowers. I got him in a best ball league where it's a couple of friends and we're in a best ball. That's the only place I got him. And I reached on him because I'm like, there is no way I'm leaving drafts without getting him. James sniped me in one league. That was unfortunate. And every other league, like, it was just because there's always a couple people that know what they're doing with the Bauer situation. And like I mentioned, Gabe Gearing in UDPL, I tried so hard to get 108 and I offered a ton and he knew what he was doing. He goes, nope. Like,
yeah,
Bowers is it.
And I had 106 and 107. I took May because I needed quarterback help, and I took Roma Dunze, who I turned into eventually AJ Brown, and I'm cool with that. But Bowers was in consideration because I already had Laporta. But in the 2 auction leagues that I'm in, which are both tight end premium, I went all in. The only player that I wanted, because my roster was good, the only player I wanted was Brock Bowers. And I paid $400 in each of those leagues for Bowers. And I was okay with it. And I was okay with it because to me, it's like it fits my team need. And one of those leagues is a required start 2 tight end, which are rough. And I have Laporta and Bowers in that league now. So I'm set. Like, I can not have to worry about tight end all that much, which is great. And in the other league, I had Hawkinson. So it's like part of me was like, all right, Hawkinson's going to miss some time. I'll get Bowers. And then when Bowers and Hawkinson are both on the healthy on the roster, I can start both of those guys every week because it's tight end premium. Like, so for me, it was all about maximizing the position and knowing, because I've been so locked in with Bauer's talent and his draft position and price, that I was like, I'm going to do this. Dead set on it.
All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you don't have Bowers, go buy high if there's still a chance. But even then, good luck.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the quarterback position as a whole because it has been rough.
Stinky.
I mean, you've got Derek Carr and Baker Mayfield, quarterbacks 1 and 2 for scoring so far through 2 weeks. Baker, he looks good. He looks like he's home. He found a home. And the NFL is better when Baker is
He's
good.
just fun to watch.
Yeah. Derek Carr, that's another story. But I'm
Can
not
I
a
say
Derek
something
Carr.
that's a little wild? I just thought of it. Watching Baker Mayfield is kind of like watching Kyler Murray. Like,
Yeah.
he's not, so Baker's not the athlete that Kyler is, and he's not going to run for like a 40-yard run. But when you watch him in the pocket and then Baker scrambling, he's got some Kyler Murray in him.
Baker's got that running ability where when somebody's chasing him from behind or he's trying to get around a corner, he bends his back and thrusts his lower body forward like he's like getting chased by a dog and almost bit in the ass. Like that's what I imagine.
Like a postman.
But he always gets away from it. Like he's just out of reach. And that's like Baker Mayfield. You watch his college tape. It was like, okay, Baker might be lucky, but he plays like that.
He's
like
an underrated athlete.
Oh, 100%. And then you got these quarterbacks, the rushing quarterbacks. Now I want to talk about it because what scared me away from Anthony Richardson was the accuracy. And is he going down a Justin Fields path? Because we saw a team can go a couple years with it, but once after 2 years, they get sick of it. They're like, okay, the turnovers and fumbles, like it's not helping us. And so far, through 2 games, he has shown the ability to turn the ball over. He makes special plays, and so did Justin Fields. And his freaking air yards are through the roof. It's crazy, his numbers. And his yards per attempt is nuts. But there's got to be more. You got to show more to it. And with Anthony Richardson, I'm lowering him mentally a little bit because he's starting to scare me more and more. Like, this is a good team. And I think they're just like, okay, man, like he's missing guys. AD Mitchell, he missed him on a throw again. Pittman, their top paid receiver. Like, where are like he's getting targets, but they're not catchable passes. Like we could be getting into a danger zone here.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's only Anthony Richardson's 6th game or whatever in the NFL. Like, to me, he's still a rookie. Like,
yeah, that's fair. Which we've seen all rookies.
Yeah, you have to look at it this way. To me, he's still a rookie. We saw guys like Josh Allen really struggle in his rookie year with accuracy. He was a scrambling quarterback. Everyone was like, "Oh, he's not that good." We can't forget that. And I'm not going to say that Anthony Richardson is going to be the next Josh Allen, but when we talk about arm talent, size, speed, all the things that go with that, there's no reason he can't be the next Josh Allen. So it's one of those things, like, if he continues to struggle, because his stock got pumped up to the fucking moon this offseason. Everyone was like, Anthony Richardson, QB3, QB4 in Dynasty. And I'm like, whoa, calm down, people. But if he continues to struggle in the next couple of weeks, I think it is going to open a window. Now, I'm not a risk-averse guy, so I'm not going to be chasing after him. But if you like Tyler, I know how Tyler is. He's like, oh, the value went down. I'm going to go after him. I could see Tyler making some moves to get Richardson. And I think if you don't mind being, the reward side of it and looking long-term, it makes sense to make that kind of move if Richardson continues to struggle. Because here's the thing, Sirianni with Hurts was the same thing in his rookie year. Oh, he can't pass for shit. Like, look at him. He's terrible. And then year 2, he's like an MVP candidate.
Yeah. So, I agree with that. Like that makes sense. But like going back to my comment about what quarterbacks I'm going for in Dynasty and trading for. Let's talk about quarterback value. Jane Daniels, I think he is skyrocketing up when I think he should just be even keel. Like, people are like, oh, look at this.
Passed it downfield.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury makes sense, right? Kyler's probably through the roof right now. He's looking at a top 8 dynasty quarterback.
Kyler was ascending over the summer because he all when they drafted Marv and stuff like that.
But I'm gonna pump the brakes on that because it was against the Rams, and the Rams have a beat up and terrible secondary. So I'm gonna pump the brakes. I think Marv helped, but quarterbacks like Caleb Williams, people are, I think because of Bryce Young getting benched, people are like, oh, Caleb, is he? No, he's not going to be Bryce Young. Caleb, the first drive when the actual OC is making sense.
He was on it the first drive. He was 5 for 5 for 55 yards or something like that.
Where they script the plays. They script like the first 15 plays. Everybody knows this. But you know what? This OC has proven us in Seattle, and now again, that he is not good. Look at the drives. It's always DeAndre Swift, a pitch, a screen. DeAndre Swift is not good in this offense. He was good for the Eagles because he's running through massive holes in that offensive line. This Bears offense is not.
I think I saw a stat: 38 dropbacks, 36 quarterback pressures.
Yes, that's not good.
That's the problem. That is the problem.
Yeah, and this offensive line was supposed to be revamped. They
supposed to be decent. Yeah,
you look at that offensive line, and they have 2 pretty good tackles. Like if you look at where they're drafted and what they should be. And then they have another first-round pick on the inside or a second-round pick on left guard. Like this offensive line should be better, and it's not.
Mm-hmm.
They're missing Keenan Allen, and you know what? I think the issue is it's Waldron, the OC. But the nice thing is, as we can see with the Saints, offensive coordinators change. They actually look at it and they go, "Oh, I'm an idiot. Like I should have hired somebody else."
Easier to fire an OC than a head coach.
That is very true. And that's what they're probably going to do before they fire Eberflus. Mm-hmm. And the nice thing is, if the Bears are smart, they're going to fire Eberflus and go an offensive-minded coach. And there's a lot of them available. Ben Johnson. I mean, we look at
Bobby Slowick.
Bobby Slowick. Like I was talking to you last night, like maybe Bobby Slowick's looking at Caleb's arm talent. It's like, okay, this could be an opportunity for me because he's got Rome. He's got DJ Moore, Cole Kmet. Like, what's not to like? That could be get Swift out of there, put Herbert in. Yeah. So I think better days are ahead for the Bears, and like we're talking buy lows and stuff. And I mean, Caleb, is his value gonna ever be lower? I just traded Caleb to you, but it was due to
breaking news.
But it was I'm just like trying to find my groove with this team. I'm complete rebuild. I mashed this thing up and just threw everything out.
And I want to talk about this trade too, because so what the trade was is that I traded Ja'Marr Chase and Drake May to Tyler and got back Caleb Williams and Chris Olave. I want to talk about Ja'Marr Chase for a minute because, off season, he's the wide receiver 2 in Dynasty, wide receiver 3. It's usually like CD or he's in the top 3. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
In everyone's rankings. So here's my concern with Ja'Marr Chase. And I thought about this actually while the trade was on the board. I kind of was thinking about it anyway. But for me, Ja'Marr Chase, what do we love about Ja'Marr Chase? He used to make big, explosive plays. And he hasn't done that in 2 years, which is a concern. They use him over the middle of the field on short stuff. Gone are the deep shots to Ja'Marr Chase. Gone are the catch and runs for touchdowns from Ja'Marr Chase. He's been more of like a 6 for 65 guy as opposed to like a 4 for 120 guy. And that's concerning to me. And, I know the Bengals have a new OC this year because their OC's now the head coach of the Titans, Callahan. And I don't think that's the problem. Now Ja'Marr Chase is a bit of a malcontent. He didn't get his deal. He got his insurance thing, whatever. He's mouthing off to officials in the game. Cost the Bengals bigly with a 15-yard penalty because he used excessive language. He's pushing Joe Burrow. Him and Burrow were getting into it. All I see here is Odell Beckham Jr. We know how good Odell Beckham Jr. was for the first few years of his career. And I'm not saying Ja'Marr Chase is going to get hurt or anything like that. But once a player becomes a bit of a problem, I mean, are the Bengals going to be like, yeah, we want to bring Ja'Marr Chase back, or maybe I don't know. I just get really bad vibes, not only from Chase's situation, but because he doesn't have the explosiveness that he used to. He's not fun to watch play football anymore.
I think that the offense is the issue. They're trying to find their footing. They had no run game.
Last year, it was the same thing.
Well, they had no run game, and I think Chase had explosive plays. He had massive games.
He had Mixon last year. He had big games, but he didn't have big explosive plays.
But Burrow was also hurt. They had Jake Browning in.
That's fair.
Burrow is Burrow never starts hot, and I think that's the issue. Ja'Marr Chase, I think, is fully healthy. Yeah, he's unhappy about his contract, and you know what? My main thing, we have Memphis Randall Young in the chat. Earlier, I was chatting with him today, and he posted something on Twitter about Ja'Marr Chase and his deal, and he got offered $35 million, which is literally right underneath Jefferson, which is exactly where he should be. Jefferson should be the highest paid receiver. He deserves it. He is. And Chase should be right where CeeDee Lamb is. They should be neck and neck. Chase denied it because he went the Jefferson route. People forget about this. Jefferson did the same thing, but he kind of stayed under the radar. Jefferson was going to get paid. He didn't. He played last year. He got hurt, but then came out firing. Mm-hmm. I think better days are ahead for Chase. And yes, I do think he is a buy low, hence what I did.
Yeah, that's fair.
The Bengals offense, like I said, like Joe Mixon maybe was not efficient with this Bengals offense last year, but there's no threat with Zach Moss. Yeah, there's no threat with Zach Moss and Chase Brown. They don't trust Chase Brown. Like
they don't. Well, they don't give him the opportunities.
Yes,
sucks.
So like this running game. I mean, I think there's better days ahead. I do think Chase will get paid. I think the only issue is Mike Brown. We all know he is one of those owners of the NFL team where all the money he gets is from the NFL team. So he doesn't have another job where he's getting stuff coming in all the time. It's just from ticket sales and all that stuff. So he needs a year to kind of gang that money so he can get it to Chase. And I think Chase is more like, oh, why can't you do this? But Jerry Jones has a shit ton of money and has money coming in from other places. So he's got to realize that Brown has never been that type of owner ever in his whole entire life. And that's the reason. I mean, they sold big screen TVs for like $40 just to get some cash. Like it was sad, but I think better days are ahead for Chase. And they play Washington next week. Squeaky wheel for both Burrow and Chase.
Let's hope so.
And Higgins might be back next week. Maybe, hopefully. Yeah. But
that would be nice. I could use him in my lineup with all these injuries.
If there's a bigger headache on that team, it's T. Higgins. Like, no, thank you. I have him in one league, and when he has a big game, I'm ready to see it.
He just can't stay healthy. I know.
It's and hey, look, they brought Burton in, and look what happened. He made plays.
My boy Yoshi with 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He catches, though, he didn't get volume.
He drops a ton in the middle of the field, but when he's in that end zone, he'll catch him.
And that's all that matters.
Let me see. Going to quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence has been.
I was going to say Bryce Young got benched for Andy Dalton,
which is smart. Bryce Young has no confidence. He looks terrible. He had 18 completions, 82 yards. That is absolutely terrible. He missed Adam Thielen. He had nobody around him, and Adam Thielen was wide open, and he just missed him on a screen pass. Nobody misses on screen passes, and he missed him completely. Thielen couldn't even touch it. Andy Dalton, my brother, my ginger brother, is back in. There's better days ahead for this offense, and it'll be interesting to see how this offense goes with Dalton. And I think that will show us a lot with Bryce Young, because maybe Bryce just needs a change of scenery, a second chance like Darnold. Maybe it'll take him a couple years. Yeah, or Baker.
Yeah.
He needs, like, if he was with Kevin
O'Connell.
Or Gino. Yeah, like imagine Bryce Young with Kevin O'Connell's offense or Shanahan. Like, they might be able to get a little bit of confidence out of him, which would be exciting. But I want to talk about Trevor Lawrence, because he's been a hot topic about how, Trevor Lawrence, he's not. It was downpouring in Cleveland. Have you ever thrown a football in rain?
I have actually, Tyler.
It sucks.
It's not the best.
But he's throwing bombs to Brian Thomas and completing them, and people are complaining about better days are
Cleveland's
ahead.
defense is also one of the better defenses in the league as well.
Yeah, they can't stop the run really, but yeah, their pass defense is elite with Delpit, Ward in the back, and of course, when you're throwing the ball, that means Myles Garrett is going to come loose around the corner. So, yeah, their pass defense is elite. Any other quarterbacks you'd like to talk about? Like Lamar hasn't looked great. Kirk Cousins is playing tonight. He's kind of stepping up.
He got a touchdown pass, so that's nice.
Yeah, to Mooney, but Mooney created that, and he just missed Mooney deep.
I think with Lamar, I think it's the offense. Everyone expected big things out of the Ravens offense with the addition of Derrick Henry. I think it's one of those things like this is a new group of guys for the most part. Bateman didn't play much last year. Zay's in his second year. You got Henry in there. The line hasn't been as great. I think it's going to take them another week or two to really get the traction to get going. I was shocked that it was like 6-6 at the half against the Raiders. I was like, wow, like what's going on? The Raiders played. Max Crosby was just eating dudes for lunch.
Yeah, and it helps that Watkins is in the middle now. Christian Watkins is in the middle.
Wilkins?
Sammy
Watkins? Sammy
Watkins,
former Raven.
Gained a ton of weight. All right, let's kind of stick with the rookie theme and go to rookie wide receivers and talk about the slow ass Marvin Harrison and how bad he is. And like, how terrible is it that he had 4 catches and 130 yards and 2 touchdowns? Just trash, right?
In the first quarter. Yeah, I want to talk about this. So he was the first rookie to do that since his dad in 1996. I don't even know when. That's a cool stat. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty fun. I love nerdy stats like that. That he's the first rookie receiver since Marvin Harrison. I was like, oh no shit. I take issue with people that spill out hot takes to gain attention in this industry. And after 1 week, when you call Laquan Treadwell Marvin Harrison or Laquan Harrison or whatever the hell it was, get the fuck out of here. Like, it's one game, and it's good that Marvin Harrison was like, the thing this week was Kyler's like, well, I'm not here to feed him targets. And then Harrison destroyed the Rams in the first quarter, 4 for 130 and 2 touchdowns. He showed off speed. He showed his feet off. He showed his hands off. He played like a big dog. And to see someone overreact on a wide receiver prospect like Marvin Harrison and call him Laquan Treadwell after his performance in week 1, get out of here. Go take your stupid hot takes and crawl back into your hole.
So the underlying stats are he ran 60 miles an hour high on week 1, but people don't go back and look at the college tape and see that he ran 22 miles an hour.
Which is fast last time I checked.
Yes, that is very fast. He is a long receiver. His first touchdown catch, he was toe tapping before the ball even got there. There's only a few receivers in this world that can have that concentration and ability. And then his second one, he showed his length. His wingspan is massive because there's not a lot of people that can reach for that pylon from that far out, and he did.
That was an awesome play.
He is a good receiver. The chemistry will only grow, and it's tough. Like, Malik Neighbors got 18 targets. 18.
63% target share or something goofy.
My favorite part about this is we all talk about how the there's so do we draft receivers? Do we draft quarterbacks? What's nice to see with these guys is Marvin Harrison, when he was interviewed, he came out and said, I could do better. I dropped 2 touchdowns, which he did. They were throws that I think Kyler could have had better throws, like more up, but he gunned one, and they were just kind of out routes from the 5, just post. And Marvin Harrison, when they talked about his historic day, he's like, yeah, I should have done better. Like, those drops were on me, because he was talking about Kyler's huge game. And he goes, yeah, those 4 passes that were incomplete, 2 of them I should have caught. Right. And then Malik Neighbors, when he dropped that pass, he blamed himself.
Oh, yeah. That was a tough one.
These guys had massive weeks, and they are all about the team. We talked about Odell Beckham, and Odell Beckham was a special talent, but he got in his own way, and that is what we're worried about with Malik and Marv with the whole Fanatics thing. I don't think we have any worries about the future of the wide receiver position because these guys are awesome, and Marv and Malik, they're going to be top 6 wide receivers in Dynasty probably today.
if they pace for, let's say they each do 1,200 yards, 80 plus catches, and 6 to 8 touchdowns, they're top 5 Dynasty receivers easily.
Yeah. So I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., 2 catches, 98 yards, I think it was. This is what you're going to see. Yeah, and I think he will grow as a receiver with this offense and be a massive player for them. Ladd McConkey, we could talk about him and how people are hyped on him. I think it's a good buy low opportunity because this team has not had to throw the ball, and they are running.
Johnson with 2 touchdowns, Tyler.
Yeah,
I thought the world ended. My heart skipped a beat. That first one, he made a nice play on the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
That was more. I would say that was 70% him versus 30% Herbert on that one, because the defender was on him and he had to adjust for it and go down and catch it. So it was a nice play.
Yeah, but this team is going to run into more of a buzzsaw in their schedule where they're going to actually have to play more offense and throw the ball more. So if you can buy low on any of the Chargers, except J.K. Dobbins, you can't really buy low on him because that dude is on fire. So if you have J.K. and you're like, oh, thank you, maybe it's a time to go trade him because he had no value, and now you could maybe get a second for him. It could be a chance to capitalize on it.
I have him in a couple of leagues. I held on to him tight, and I was like, oh, we'll see what we get. And then I started him this week, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, this is what you do with running backs. A guy that literally had no value.
Churn and burn.
Yes, no value. Like Jordan Mason, another player. You might have him for a while. Jordan Mason has not handled this much carries, so there's a chance he goes down, and then you're like, oh, crap. I should have traded him for even a late first to the McCaffrey owner.
Then you're rostering Matt Breida for some reason, and you're like, what have I done?
Yeah.
I mean, him.
Let's go. Let's do what we did last week and go through each team. We'll go through the matchups, and then we'll give kind of a buy. We'd go out and go trade for.
Sure.
Or you can even give a sell if you want to buy or sell. Go for it. Let's actually do the Eagles and Falcons game that's playing right now.
Sell Dallas Goedert while you can.
I mean, that's true. AJ Brown's going to be out a couple weeks.
Dallas, he's not doing anything. Grant Calcaterra is getting more targets than Dallas Goedert.
That is true.
I'm just not a Goddard guy. So I'm sorry.
Mine would be go buy Michael Penix before it's too late, because he is going to start this year. Cousins, second week in a row where he looks shaky, he looks bad. It's becoming eye-opening to the point where he even admitted that he's not 100% healthy, but he's 100% healthy in the pocket. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I don't know.
So Cousins, I think his confidence is hurt, as well as he still is hurt with the Achilles. Maybe it's just Aaron Rodgers hasn't even looked like himself this year. So the Achilles could be hurt in these quarterbacks.
If things keep going on with Drake London like they are, I'm still buying.
Okay.
I'm a sucker. I'll do it.
Bills and Dolphins.
Shakir.
Okay, Shakir.
He seems to be the most constant pass catcher out of that. And James Cook had a day. I'm not selling him. With all the way that running back's shaping out, I don't think I would buy high on him either.
No.
So
mine would be Tua, of course. I still think people are like, oh, he's out for the year. Come on. I think Tua is a huge buy right now. Raiders and Ravens.
I mean, Bowers.
Bowers.
How about this? Bowers and Flowers.
I wanted to buy Flowers everywhere this offseason.
I thought go to the grocery store, Tyler. They sell them there.
Yeah. I mean, I think Flowers is a great buy. And he's so underrated. 7 for 91. Yeah, I'll take that every week.
Mm-hmm.
Browns and Jags. Jameis. My favorite comment was
I would send out a really low offer for Nick Chubb.
That's fair. I mean, Jerome Ford, My favorite thing is he commented saying like Jameis Winston, every time he goes in the huddle and calls a play, it's like he's got a big surprise or like something like that. Like
I see it.
Jameis is the best. I
the
wish
weird usage
play.
this week with Ford and Donta Foreman was not expected.
Yeah,
Ford. It was weird. He had one snap last week, and then Ford had a nice game, and then Foreman outsnapped him this week. So really weird. But I would say throw out a low ball offer for Nick Chubb.
Okay, for the Jags, I think I'd go Trevor Lawrence or even buy high on Brian Thomas still.
What are we doing with Christian Kirk? Are we concerned about Christian Kirk?
I've never been crazy on Christian Kirk. I know you've really liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah, this offense, even with Evan Ingram out,
is Doug Peterson not good?
Maybe this could be another team that could possibly be looking for a new head coach.
Agreed.
But things change. Like Trevor got paid, so for me, like Trevor's still a buy. Jets and Titans. Garrett Wilson. Is Garrett Wilson elite?
You still got to pay a big price to get him.
But is he still elite? People are starting to ask.
I mean, I don't know. TBD? How's that sound?
Yeah. I mean, this is year 3. We're looking at him and Olave kind of maybe being the same type of player.
That is true. Titans, sell Levis if you can, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be on a short. I think he's going to be on a short leash too, because Mason Rudolph.
I was gonna say, go get Rudolph. He looked great in preseason,
and he looked good last year for the Steelers. So,
yeah. Rudolph could fit right into this offense. He fits perfect with it.
Put him right at the front of the sleigh. He'll pull you to a win.
Right. Like, and maybe when it gets a little colder, he could really help this team out.
It's true.
Maybe guide them.
He's here for the Ranger game.
My buys are, I don't even know. Like, if you can't get Garrett Wilson cheap, sure.
I reached out to a certain former co-host of this podcast, about Braylon Allen in a league that I have Breece Hall, and I sent him a decent deal for Braylon Allen. He said he was going to stick with him. I was like, all right. Braylon Allen looked good.
He looks good, and he's like young as all can be. And if
youngest
Breece goes down,
scorer since like 1964 or something like that.
And if Breece goes down, we're looking at probably an RB1.
Very possibly.
Let's go Niners and Vikings. Getting closer to the Hawkinson coming back. Is he a buy?
Yeah, I think if you can still go out and acquire Hawkinson at a discount and do it.
Darnold's going to love him.
He is going to love him. I mean, Darnold's looked good, and he had no Addison this week. I would say Ty Chandler has been good. He's been very good. So Ty Chandler would be a guy that if you're worried about Aaron Jones, get ahead of it and get Chandler now before Jones goes down with injury and Chandler's carrying the ball 15, 20 times.
Give me those IR players, JJ McCarthy and Pearsall. JJ, if you got a 25 first and somebody will take it because they're worried Darnold's going to start next year, do it. Because Darnold was thrown to the wolves in every team he's been on. KOC might be the best play caller in the NFL. I'm saying it. He could be one of the best.
Home team bias.
I mean, look what he had last year with Nick Mullins. And I mean, even Joshua Dobbs. Now, Dobbs is the quarterback 3 for San Francisco. Like, he did a lot with nothing, and he's still doing it. So, I think JJ, I think there's nothing but success for JJ. It might start, a little bit slow, but I think in this offense, JJ is going to be very good.
Gotcha.
And Pearsall, of course, with the injuries that San Francisco can't escape. Chargers and Panthers.
I don't really have any Chargers that I would sell high on Dobbins, like you said.
Okay.
Panthers.
You still going to go Brooks? Because Hubbard looked good.
Yeah, I'm still going to go Brooks.
Okay, I think Brooks, people are worried about Carolina, but
his price is only going down the worse Carolina is.
Yeah. So
we've seen good running backs on bad teams in the past.
So the threat of Dalton being able to actually complete passes is going to be something, and we are going to see what it does as offense. We saw it when he came in. When was it? Was it last year?
He came in last year.
And he looked competent.
He played okay when he was with Dallas.
Yeah.
So I think Andy Dalton's decent.
For the Chargers, I'm going to go Ladd McConkey. I've actually been thinking about sending offers out, and Herbert is still a buy for me because, like I said, I think the schedule gets a little tougher.
Yeah, he escaped injury this week, thankfully.
Yep, and they're gonna have to throw it. Herbert still looks awesome. It's just they don't need him to do much, and he's running the ball a little more as well. Let's go Seahawks Patriots. We didn't even talk about JSN getting 16 targets.
No, we didn't.
100+ yards. Hey, this is what we wanted. Like, this is what
we've talked JSN as a buy low for a while now, and it's looking like that window is starting to close. For the Patriots, I mean, Hunter Henry, if you need a veteran tight end, like
Jalen Polk, I think is looking better and better.
Here's the thing: Patriots wide receivers only had 3 receptions. Demario Douglas with 0. I know, but they got to start throwing to the receivers. It's one of the things in this Van Pelt offense. Yeah, they've been running the ball successfully. Antonio Gibson had a nice game, and Ramondre was solid. It's they need to start using the wide receivers in this offense.
Yeah, and I think they will because I
do like Geno. If you're looking for a cheaper super flex quarterback, Geno in this Ryan Grubb offense with these weapons.
Sorry, Sam Howell. It would have been nice to see Howell. They maybe. Because Geno isn't the picture of health. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna sell Zach Charbonnet while you can because he looks not good. He's just getting volume.
He looks Zach Charbonnet okay.
And for me, the Patriots is Drake May. Like Drake May, he should he's already getting 30% of the first team reps for practice, which is smart. Mayo making a smart coach play is great to see because I think he is a good coach.
He seems like a pretty sharp dude.
Yes. So, Jacoby Brissett, he's been like, okay, is he going to get back up?
He's got banged up the last couple of games where you're like, oh, here comes nope, and then Jacoby gets back out there and he's like, all right, he's good.
And we all talked about the whole entire season. It's like 5 games, and then the schedule opens up a little bit for the Patriots. So I think by week 5 or 6. We're going to start.
We'll see him.
Hopefully not.
When he gets his first start, can we over abuse the "it's gonna be May"? Because we need to do that.
You can't maybe, but I think Drake May. I still like May over Jane Daniels from what I've seen from Daniels. Yes, he's fun. He can run. I still
That's all he does.
I still think May over Daniels. I'm going to stand by that.
I think Daniels is just going to get mangled.
He gets hit so hard, and
if I'm a Washington fan, I've got PTSD up the wazoo.
Yeah. All right, let's go Saints Cowboys. I'm gonna sell Rashid Shaheed.
That's fair. How about buying Jalen Tolbert cheap?
He looked good.
Sneaky good game in this one. Had an awesome catch in this one. Or Rico Dowdle, I think, is another one because Zeke was Zeke, but Rico. If you're looking for cheap running back help, I think Rico could help you out.
I want none of them. for the Cowboys, damn, I might sell Dak. Maybe pivot.
Yeah.
Like one of my. I mean, we'll talk about it.
Who would you trade Dak straight up for? Like, who's in the ballpark of Dak?
Jordan Love.
I feel like if whoever has Jordan Love wouldn't give him up for Dak.
I mean, Love is hurt. He could be out for a couple more weeks. So if I get Jordan Love for Dak right now, straight up 1-for-1, I think I'd do it.
I'd probably do that too.
Giants and Commanders. Giants.
Ben Sinnott still. I know he's not seeing the field, so his value is going down, and I think he's going to be very good.
Are you still looking at Theo for the Giants?
Yeah, I mean Theo in week 1 played the most tight end snaps. He didn't do jack. He didn't do jack squat in week 2. So yeah, I would say I'm going tight ends in this one. Rookie tight ends, Theo and Ben.
All right, I'm selling Jane Daniels because I think the time is coming. I know I wasn't big on his tape, and I know I could be biased towards my own take, but it worries me. The line is not good, and he is look at one read and then run.
He's a little reckless. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one read then take off. And there was a play where
throw it downfield.
There was one play where he literally, I don't even think he looked up. He just grabbed it and he felt the pressure and he's like, "See ya."
Yeah.
I mean, he's electric. He's fun. And the Giants, I think I'm gonna buy extremely high on Neighbors. So I mean, give up a couple firsts for Neighbors, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what his price is, but it's only going to keep going up.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Buccaneers and Lions.
Buccaneers. Who? I maybe sell Chris Godwin. I don't know that he can sustain. He's the number 1 receiver in fantasy right now.
That's fair.
Through 2 weeks,
and he's healthy.
And I love Chris Godwin. I just don't think he can sustain it. I don't think he can sustain it through a whole season. Lions, buy Laporta if there's a dip.
Oh, 100% agree with the Laporta take. I actually might even think about selling Jameson Williams because, I mean, he's on a heater, and people are like, "Oh, this is what we wanted. He's a first-round pick," but this is a 2-game stretch, the only 2-game stretch we've seen out of his 3 years. So,
yeah,
just saying, like, Amon-Ra's hurt, everything's working out for him, which is good. Like, he's a fun player. He's great. He's escaped 2 weeks of injuries too. He hurt his ankle on both weeks. So, I'd probably sell on Jameson, and Buccaneers, it's buy Jalen McMillan until you can't.
I'd even think about buying Baker. I've seen
enough to where I think he's a starter for the next 8 years.
Perfect QB2 in Superflex.
1,000%. Has perfect. Quarterback 1 weeks, and then some weeks he'll have the low end quarterback 1,
but the
high end
defense
quarterback
isn't
2.
that great for the most part, so they'll be Baker, solid.
Colts backers.
Josh Downs, I'm still buying.
Okay.
I'm not selling Anthony Richardson yet. Give me 2 weeks and I'll try to buy him, possibly.
Okay. I think it's the wrong time to sell Richardson right now because there is in the back of your head, maybe he's not great.
Oh, something tells me if Christian Watson has a big game sometime soon to sell him.
For me,
what do we do with Musgrave?
I don't know. I'm gonna buy Tucker Kraft because I think he's the best for this offense. He's great after the catch. My hot take was Musgrave, so I'm gonna take the L on that because it's not looking likely.
It's still early.
But I think Tucker Kraft in this offense, they like his catching plays after the catch.
He's a tough son of a bitch, that Tucker Kraft.
And Jordan Love. I mean, he's hurt. People are like, oh, maybe he's out for a couple more weeks. I would love to go out and get Jordan Love because I think he's one of the safer quarterbacks with major upside. Let me see here. Rams and Cardinals.
I'm not buying any Rams right now. I'll tell you that much.
Puka.
Oh,
people
that's true.
So down on Puka because of the injury.
That is a good point.
He's a very young player. He's 23. Might not even be 23. But yeah, Puka is a massive buy.
I think I'm not a huge Trey Benson guy, but he hasn't looked good in the first 2 weeks. So if you can get him at a discount, because I don't think James Conner can hold up to a whole season of 20 touches a game. And the way that he physically runs, I love James Conner. He's so fun to watch play football. But if he makes it through a whole season, I'd be really surprised. So Trey Benson's the next one up.
I'm selling Kyler. It's been fun. But if I could, once again, do Jordan Love, Jordan Love plus for Kyler. I think you could do that right now.
You have a Jordan Love erection.
I do. Because I think he's great. Let's go Steelers and Broncos. Bo Nix, right?
I don't want really anything to do with either of these teams, to be completely honest.
Justin Fields, I mean, his value ain't too high.
George Pickens should have had a massive game, but there was some penalties.
Yeah.
He could have had a touchdown and 100 yards in this one. And he's clearly the number one target in that offense. So maybe Pickens, if people are like, he's not that great. I like Pickens. So if you buy a little bit of maybe Roman Wilson, they need something in the passing game.
I love Roman Wilson, and he'll be back next week. He could have played this week.
Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin,
and Roman Wilson fits in this offense exactly what they want to do: shorter passes, and then play action. The George Pickens.
He's like Golden Tate.
Yeah, Roman Wilson is a perfect buy, and like I said, he could have played this week, but I think they held him on just one more week. Broncos, no thanks.
Hard pass.
Bo Nix scared me in preseason because I thought I was going to be completely wrong because I was out on Bo Nix. I thought his tape was terrible. I didn't like how he played. And the Auburn thing just destroyed me. I thought he was absolutely trash in Auburn.
I don't think he's a lost cause yet.
I'm
TBD. Too early.
Let's just say I'm glad I don't have any shares, and I stuck to my guns on it because I almost took Bo Nix over Keon Coleman in a league. I almost took Bo Nix over a lot of people. I almost traded back in to go get Bo Nix. I'm happy I didn't, and I'm happy I stayed my ground. I was upset I didn't get Bo Nix in a league, and I had to take Penix. That could actually pan out very well for me, the way Cousins is playing.
That's true.
But yeah, Roman Wilson is an awesome buy. Bengals and Chiefs.
Eric All.
Oh,
we saw him on the field this week, and he looked good. I know they have 17 tight ends on that roster. Drew Sample can go kick rocks. Gesicki had a nice game, cool. But Eric All's the future there. So I like Eric All, getting him on the cheap right now. And then Chiefs, oy vey. I mean, if you can get Kelsey at a discount,
I'm staying away.
Maybe. I'm not really super into it, though.
So the Chiefs play the Falcons next week. If Mahomes can't have a Mahomes game, I think is the time Mahomes to buy. Because people are going to start being like, oh, God, maybe. Because you can never buy Mahomes. When you have Mahomes, you can't sell him for what you want. And when you don't have Mahomes, and when you have Mahomes, or when you don't have Mahomes, you can't get him at a discount. But I think we're starting to get to that point with last year and the start of this year, to where we might be able to get him.
He's a good fantasy quarterback, but he's not great right now.
Ever since Tyreek left, he needs that element of down the field. And I think Worthy, once he gets his feet wet, Rashee Rice is, you know what? I'm going to sell Rashee Rice. There you go. There's my Chiefs.
I already sold him.
I'm not a massive Rice fan. I think he's an okay receiver. So when we're looking at him blowing up and people like he's a top 12 receiver in Dynasty, I think that's
too much.
Have you not seen the Twitter streets? It's happening.
I try to stay off the Twitter streets. I try to just visit here and there.
All right, Bears and Texans, last one.
Caleb, obviously.
Caleb is a
and Rome.
Buy. Yeah, I mean, Rome is getting open. If you have not,
I don't even know why Rome was out there with the injury that he had, but he's a dude's a warrior. Rome is just that dude.
So we look at next year's class, and everybody's saying, "Oh, it's got a couple of receivers, it's got a ton of running backs, and maybe one quarterback comes out of nowhere." And there's probably two really good tight ends. Like Loveland from Michigan is an absolute beast. But if you can go and get Rome for even like 103 for 25, that is a smash accept, because this receiver class is not guaranteed for anything. And Rome is a wide receiver one elite prospect. So that's what I'm going to say. And he's got Caleb, and Caleb will be fine. It's just get that OC out of town and play better.
I think that's fair. For the Texans, maybe Tank Dell.
Yes, all day.
And Diggs is only going to be there for a year, guys. So, like...
Cade Stover, because he's getting play.
I mean, Schultz just signed a long-term deal, didn't he? I still love Brevin Jordan. God damn it.
Sorry. Nico is him.
Buy high on Nico?
I feel like Nico's going to be one of those players that never gets the respect
I feel like Rashee Rice is going to be higher ranked in Dynasty than Nico, and that's just
I would do 1-for-1 all day.
Yeah, that's just criminal to me. Like, why?
Falcons scored and won the game.
Drake London with the touchdown. So much for buying low. Gosh darny.
They gotta kick a field goal. But yeah. Hey, Falcons win. Falcons beat the Eagles.
The battle of the birds is what I'm told.
Falcons are very fast, but Eagles are big and strong. It'd be a weird battle.
It would be a weird battle.
All right. Speaking of battle, this podcast battle is over.
All right. We're going to call it a draw this week. No winners, no losers. We're France. We're going to sit on the fence. So, yes. Thank you for joining us for our week 2 recap and our injury roundup. Hopefully next week there's not nearly as many injuries and we start to see some things level off. We did see scoring increase in week 2. So that was nice to see. Hopefully we can see a nice bump going into week 3 and we can get healthy enough rosters to help you win. Oy vey. So with that said, we will see you next week on the Dynasty Happy Hour.
Drake London on sportsmanlike conduct.
Oh, really?